What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. In today's video, I want to break down some thoughts from one of the biggest Jets haters out there in the media, Louis Riddick, and if his take is too far or is it actually a fair criticism. We're going to get into all of that on today's episode. Guys, are you tired of your classic rough and rigid jeans crushing your nuts? Are you wearing oversized jeans that make you a laughing stock at your office or at the bar? And is your wife tired of you wearing sweatpants or, God forbid, khakis because you hate wearing jeans? Well, today's sponsor, The Perfect Jean, finally solved all of your denim difficulties. They make great looking, perfect fitting jeans that are as comfortable as sweatpants. I can confirm this. I've worn my pair a few times already, and as you can see, I am someone who works from home. I get in front of a microphone, I talk into a camera. I'm usually a sweatpants guy, but they are changing it for me. I love these jeans. They're my favorite pair of jeans, and the secret to them is a special denim fabric that's super soft and has the perfect amount of stretch so you can squat, do yoga, or just sit around all day without ever having to or wanting to take them off. They make 6 different fits from skinny all the way up to thick. They have waist from 26 to 50 and lengths from 26 to 38. So big boys, short kings, tall dudes, they got you covered. Something for everyone. F your khakis and get the perfect jean 15% off with code O'Leary15 at theperfectjean.nyc/O'Leary15. Might as well upgrade your wardrobe and get a discount on top of it. All right, so what did Louis Riddick do this time? He was on ESPN on Get Up, and he had a quote that was a little bit interesting. So they were talking about the New York Jets 2024 season. It was Kimberly Martin, former Jets beat reporter Bart Scott, and you had Greeny. So a lot of Jets representation, and Louis Riddick, as one of the classic Jets haters, had to step up and had to say, as a Jet fan, are you realistically believing that they can win a Super Bowl or go from what happened to last year to win a Super Bowl? You think that could really happen? That's not happening. There's no chance in hell that that happens, says Louis Riddick.
Do we really think that the Jets, realistically?
Yeah.
Like, as a Jets fan, are you realistically believing that they can go from what happened last year to the Super Bowl?
Put a pin in that for a second, because I want to go back to something he said a year ago before the New York Jets 2023 season, where he said that it's Super Bowl or shut up for Jet fans.
Win the Super Bowl or shut up.
So this is someone who's pretty much made it clear that the Jets have to win a Super Bowl or he doesn't want to hear it, which I said at the time, and I still think now, is unfair. I don't think that's fair for Jet fans. This is a fan base that has been starved to watch just competent level football. They haven't had that ability for a really, really long time. So forgive Jet fans or forgive anyone who is saying, hey, you know what? The Jets might be competitive. I think there's layers to this. I think saying that this team is a definite Super Bowl contender in 2024 is pretty wild when you consider some of their head coaching issues, offensive staff issues, the needs on the offensive line and wide receiver. But with all that said, as something that Bart Scott used as a rebuttal, with Aaron Rodgers and this defense, they can't be competitive in the AFC. Like, I get it. I'm not necessarily saying they're the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, or the Baltimore Ravens when they're healthy. I don't think I could put them in that spot after seeing some things that went off the rails last year, but they went 7-10 last year, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't win that team as exactly as constructed last year an extra 3 games or so? I think he does. I absolutely think he does. And again, that's not me saying going into next year in 2024, I'm picking them to go 14-3 to win the Super Bowl. I think that's probably a little bit ambitious, but to just completely dismiss the Jets having any chance of being competitive because they really stunk last year with their backup quarterback is kind of crazy. And I feel like I'm someone who's kind of down on the Jets after what happened this year. Like, I have concerns with Robert Saleh. I have concerns with Joe Douglas and their ability to fix the offensive line and wide receiver room and all that. But you can't be like, there's no sign of any optimism. I can't do that. I'm not on the side of this is just a complete dumpster fire. They have no shot. They're going to go 6-11 next year, and it's going to stink again because of all these other problems. And at the same time, I'm not going to go that they're, this number one contender. They have a really, really good defense. They have a really good special teams. If I'm Joe Douglas, I am doing every single thing humanly possible to keep this unit on the defense and special teams together in hopes that they are a top 5 unit, because that's what they were. They had a top 5 defense last year and they had a top 5 special teams unit. The problem is their play caller's a moron, and they did not have a competent quarterback in the building, so they had the worst offense in the NFL. That's not going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. I get it. There's going to be issues on the offensive line. Even if they bring in a couple new starters, it's not going to be perfect. But could they be, I'll give mediocre expectations. Could they be a top 20 offensive line? Just not a bottom 12 offensive line in the league. I'm not even talking about an elite unit, a top 5. If they went from 32 worst offensive line in the league to 20th or 18th offensive line in football, does that not help dramatically? And then Aaron Rodgers coming back in here and playing doesn't help at all. He's not going to be taking the Nathaniel Hackett play calls and just go up to line and be like, okay, this is what Nathaniel Hackett called, so we're going to run it. No, that's not how it works. It pretty much is structured so that the play call or the formation really goes into Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers goes up to the line, diagnoses it, they get the play off, and they go from there. Audibles, reading the defense, all things that Aaron Rodgers can do, where Zach Wilson, Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian were not as good as at diagnosing defenses. They're not as smart. And for everything, every flaw that Aaron Rodgers may have, his age, his coming off an injury, the whole thing, he is a significantly smarter quarterback than anyone the Jets have trotted out there in recent years. So, again, I'm not coming on here and saying that the New York Jets are winning a Super Bowl in 2024-25. I think that is very, very lofty expectations, but does it have to? Is that really the line? They can't just go from, a dumpster fire to, a good team. I'm not saying a 9-8 team that gets bounced in the first round, but if the Jets won 11 games and won 2 playoff games next year and are in the AFC Championship game before Kansas City beats them, am I going to sit here after that and call this season a failure? No, I think I'm going to be, all right, what do we have to do to put ourselves over the top in 2025? That's how I'd be looking at it, but I don't know. I guess maybe I'm not as miserable as people like Louis Riddick or some of those fans. And again, I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that it's going to happen and the Jets are going to be in that spot. There are some legitimate concerns, and some things that Louis Riddick brings up from last year are good points. Things did really go wrong, but no chance that they're competitive. I'm not going that far. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you guys next time.